Tornadoes, with their unparalleled fury and unpredictability, are among nature's most awe-inspiring phenomena. They arrive unannounced, wreak havoc, and leave scars on both landscapes and lives. However, not all tornadoes receive the recognition their devastation warrants. Some are overshadowed by larger or more recent disasters, buried in the archives of history, or simply forgotten by the collective consciousness. This is the story of one such tornado, a devastating storm that carved a path of destruction, claimed countless lives, and yet remains underappreciated in the annals of natural disasters. It's forgotten. Here we reveal the amazing tale of the forgotten EF5, the conditions that sparked disaster, and the aftermath of this beast. And we will show you a video of the effect of this tornado. You really should not miss this. It's a tale of raw power, human tragedy, and enduring lessons. Join us as we revisit this forgotten tornado, uncover its deadly impact, and delve into the reasons its memory has faded into obscurity.
25 years ago, a tornado tore through Charlotte Avenue, West End, downtown Nashville, and into East Nashville. While the destruction was capturing headlines on TV that day, another large and violent tornado formed in the southern portion of Middle Tennessee.
It was a seemingly ordinary day on April 16th, 1998. The sun shone over the Midwest, and the air carried the deceptive calm that often precedes chaos. However, this day was far from ordinary. A tornado outbreak was brewing in Middle Tennessee. Meteorologists identified more than 20 supercells on radar, and the area braced for impact. By the time the storm subsided, 10 confirmed tornadoes had touched down, wreaking havoc across the region. Nashville itself endured 3 tornadoes, one rated F3 and 2 rated F2, that captured national headlines. Yet, overshadowed by the chaos in the state capital, the most violent and dangerous tornado of the event, an F5, struck Lawrence County. The rarity of an F5 tornado is noteworthy, as it remains Tennessee's only confirmed F5 in recorded history, a testament to the extraordinary power unleashed on that fateful day.
That day, Tennessee's only F5 tornado was ever recorded, with 261 to 318 mile-per-hour winds. It killed 3 people in Wayne and Hardin counties before moving through Lawrence County, injuring 21 and destroying several houses. Many in South Middle Tennessee referred to this tornado as the forgotten F5.
As the hours ticked by, radar images painted a chilling picture of nature's brewing wrath. Storm cells began to intensify at an alarming rate, their bright reds and oranges on the radar stark against the calm blue skies outside. By mid-afternoon, meteorologists had issued a tornado watch spanning multiple counties, urging residents to stay alert. Yet, even with these warnings, the sheer magnitude of the storm that was about to unfold exceeded everyone's imagination. The weather models hinted at potential disaster, but the storm's rapid escalation defied conventional expectations, leaving even seasoned experts unprepared for what was to come. On April 16, 1998, around 4:27 p.m., the storm's force came to a head as a whirling funnel cloud dropped to the earth. Originally a little twister hardly seen against the stormy skies, it soon expanded in strength and size to become an unimaginably large monster. Unprecedented in strength and severity, this tornado was later classified as an F5 on the enhanced Fujita scale. Witnesses characterized the development as both fascinating and terrible, a spiraling force of nature that seemed to violate physical rules. It changed from a simple funnel in a few minutes into a huge vortex, indicating the start of an unmatched route of devastation. At its peak, the tornado's path stretched over 2 miles wide, a staggering measurement that secured its place as one of the largest tornadoes ever recorded. To put this into perspective, it could have swallowed 30 city blocks or even the entirety of some small towns in a single pass. The sheer width of the vortex created a zone of destruction so vast that no structure within its range stood a chance. Exceeding 300 miles per hour, wind speeds turned everyday trash into deadly missiles that passed through buildings, cars, and even reinforced structures. Homes were flattened, centuries-old trees were uprooted, and everything in their path was destroyed by the strong winds, therefore leaving a desolate, damaged scene behind. Observers said the scene was strange, comparing it to an alien entity consuming everything in its path without regard or pity. Eyewitnesses described the scene as apocalyptic. The tornado roared like 1,000 freight trains, a sound so deafening it drowned out even the screams of terror. It was as if the earth itself was splitting apart, one survivor recalled. Despite the unparalleled force of the EF5 wedge tornado that struck on April 16, 1998, no fatalities were reported. Touching down just inside Wayne County and traveling 19.3 miles or 31.1 kilometers through sparsely populated areas of Lawrence County, west and northwest of Lawrenceburg, the tornado injured 21 people but spared lives. The sparsity of the affected regions and a stroke of luck meant the human toll was limited compared to the devastation it could have unleashed. However, the destruction was no less significant. Large, well-built homes with anchor bolts were completely leveled, some swept clean from their foundations. Vehicles were hurled hundreds of yards, and one truck was rumored to have traveled 20 miles, 32 kilometers, though this was never confirmed. A 200-foot section of grass was scoured from a pasture, exposing bare soil and leaving deep scars in the earth. Clumps of dirt were ripped from the ground, showcasing the storm's raw power. Trees were stripped of their bark, livestock were killed, and 75 utility poles were down, leaving an eerie desolation in its wake. This tornado, Tennessee's most recently officially rated F5, holds a unique place in history. The forgotten F5, as it has been called, did not significantly impact any towns along its path, which may explain its fading from public consciousness. Unlike the March 11, 1923 Pinson tornado, which predated the Fujita scale and formal record-keeping, this tornado's legacy is cemented in modern meteorological history, even if its memory has dimmed. Originally believed to be part of one long-track tornado, subsequent reanalysis in 2013 revealed a more complex story. This event comprised 3 distinct tornadoes with path breaks, a high-end 4F in Hardin and Wayne counties, the F5 in Lawrence County, and another F4 tracking through Giles and Maury counties. Each tornado left its own mark, but the F5's intensity remains unmatched in Tennessee's history. Though eclipsed by other tragedies, the forgotten F5 is a sobering reminder of nature's ability for devastation and the precarious balance between life and death. The tornado left a devastating scene behind. Homes were demolished, schools reduced to ruins, and whole towns vanished off the map, leaving just shattered foundations and strewn trash. Often at considerable personal risk, emergency rescuers pulled survivors from the wreckage and treated the injured in temporary triage centers non-stop. Still, the extent of the calamity exceeded local resources. Hospitals were full, and shortages of supplies drove a national plea for help. From all over the country, volunteers and groups gathered to provide food, clothes, and medical supplies to the impacted areas. Though the emotional and financial toll stayed a great weight for years to come, the community's resiliency was evident as neighbors helped one another clean trash, restore and rebuild homes, and start the long road towards recovery. Despite the outpouring of support, the road to recovery was long and arduous. Many families faced insurmountable financial hardships, with insurance claims denied and federal assistance slow to arrive. Some found themselves forced to relocate permanently, unable to rebuild their homes or livelihoods. Others struggled with the emotional weight of losing everything they had worked for, compounded by feelings of isolation and despair. The psychological scars ran deep, with survivors battling PTSD, survivor's guilt, and an overwhelming fear of future storms. For children, the trauma was especially profound. Many reported nightmares and anxiety whenever thunderstorms loomed on the horizon. Community programs and counseling services emerged to offer support, but the demand far outweighed the available resources. For years, the affected regions carried not just the physical remnants of the tornado, but also an emotional toll that lingered long after the debris was cleared. So why did such a catastrophic event fade into obscurity? Part of the answer lies in timing. On April 16, 1998, the forgotten EF5 struck with devastating force, but its impact was soon overshadowed by other disasters. Just weeks later, Middle Tennessee faced another calamity, capturing national headlines and diverting attention away from the Lawrence County tornado. Additionally, Nashville's F3 and F2 tornadoes garnered more media focus due to their proximity to a major metropolitan area. Media coverage of the Lawrence County F5 dwindled rapidly, and over time it became a footnote in history. The sparsely populated areas it affected, combined with limited resources to memorialize the event, further contributed to its fading from the collective memory. Additionally, the affected region lacked the resources to memorialize the event. Unlike major cities with commemorative landmarks, these small towns had little to preserve their story. The focus shifted to rebuilding rather than remembrance. Despite its forgotten status, this tornado left a lasting impact on meteorology and disaster response. Scientists meticulously analyzed its unique characteristics, including its massive size, wind speeds, and path unpredictability, leading to significant advancements in radar technology and predictive models. The event highlighted gaps in early warning systems, spurring innovation in storm tracking and real-time data analysis. Emergency management protocols were also revised, with a renewed focus on timely evacuations, community shelters, and improved communication strategies to ensure that warnings reach even the most remote areas. Furthermore, this tornado emphasized the need for public awareness campaigns, teaching residents how to respond effectively to severe weather threats. From mandatory school drills to smartphone apps providing instant alerts, the lessons from this storm continue to save lives today. Public awareness campaigns also grew, educating residents on tornado safety. Schools implemented regular drills, and weather apps became more sophisticated, providing real-time alerts to millions. The survivors and the families impacted most certainly will never forget, even if the world may have forgotten. For these families, the memories of that day are etched profoundly in their hearts, and a permanent trace left by time cannot be erased. Generation after generation of people carries the stories of bravery, loss, and survival, therefore preserving the resilient attitude against the fury of nature. Though its teachings and legacies live as evidence of the persistent resiliency of the human spirit and the sheer force of nature, the forgotten tornado may not be carved into the collective memory. It emphasizes the fact that communities can rebuild, adapt, and grow even in the face of almost total catastrophe. Reviewing this horrific story not only respects the lives and sacrifices made by those who went through it, but also guarantees that the information acquired from this catastrophe will guide and guard the next generations. The forgotten F5 reminds us that every disaster, no matter how understated or underrepresented, carries lessons of strength, readiness, and endurance that cannot be disregarded. We appreciate you joining us on this trip over the remarkable narrative of the forgotten F5 tornado. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the incredible story of the forgotten F5 tornado.